This man is Ben Armstrong. Some people call him BitBoy Crypto. He's been warning people that something bad is coming from BRICS nations. This couldn't be further from the truth.
Chances of a large magnitude fall of the US dollar on the global scale remain highly unlikely in the near future.
I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just kidding. It's actually me, Ben Armstrong, and I'm about to decimate this lady. Okay, it seems like a nice lady. I don't want to say I'm going to decimate her and absolutely destroy her, but I'm 100% positive that everything she's about to tell you is going to be mainstream media narratives, and they're not true at all. And I'm going to talk about what's actually real, and you need to listen to me. And people like this, you need to know they're sheeple.
What's BRICS? Is the US dollar going away? I keep hearing about it on the internet. I'm gonna give you the facts about what's going on, but I have to start by saying, everyone calm down. The US dollar is not going away anytime soon. I wanna thank my TikTok subscribers for voting for this story as the bonus this week. If you wanna vote too, the only way to do that is to subscribe to my page during my next live event. Now let's get to the facts.
30 seconds of intro. I can't believe she gets engagement. That's so much intro to get started. Also, I think we're probably at the 45-second mark.
What is BRICS? BRICS is an acronym. Originally, it was just BRIC, and it's a term that was actually coined more than 20 years ago by a Goldman Sachs economist as sort of a marketing ploy to describe countries which at the time were showing sustained rates of economic growth. In 2001, BRIC stood for Brazil, Russia, India, and China.
This is all correct so far.
But as of 2010, it grew into BRICS because South Africa joined.
Okay, so here's already some information that she's missing here, which is in 2006, Vladimir Putin began holding informal meetings under the banner of BRICS. Now, it's interesting she says 2010 is when South Africa was added, because 2009 is when Vladimir Putin officially declared BRICS a body. It's been an official body since 2009.
Today, BRICS has sort of grown from this marketing ploy into a cooperative, informal group of countries, like an alternative to the G7, which is the group of Western countries that the United States is a part of. Officially, BRICS says its main...
Are you seeing a problem here, guys? Nothing to be worried about here, just the IMF and the G7 over here. And then all those countries we've isolated, the BRICS countries for all these years. Technically now, it's referred to as BRICS Plus. Many more countries have joined. In the October meeting, they're going to officially add many more. Some countries like United Arab Emirates, I believe Egypt, and one other country, they've actually already officially joined. I think Iran, they have voting power. They have voting rights exercisable already, and they made deposits to the new development bank.
Function is to promote peace, security, development, and cooperation, and it also aims at contributing significantly to the development of humanity and establishing a more equitable and fair world.
Oh God, let's pop up a graphic here. Here's a quote where you can see one of their goals is de-dollarization. Guys, it's right there.
How? Political alignment and cultural values, which I'll talk about in a second, but also money. Let's start there. First, there's the BRICS banking part, which is really important. In 2014, BRICS nations launched a new development bank as an alternative to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. They also set up a mechanism to support members struggling with payments. Those banking and funding mechanisms are not only attractive to BRICS nations, but they're open to other developing and emerging economies that have had trouble dealing with the IMF and World Bank in the past because those banks have actual policy conditions attached to their loans.
Okay, this is extremely concerning, and she's telling you this is not concerning. New development banks have been around since 2014. They were helping struggling countries. And what you're going to see with BRICS is that a lot of the countries the United States has left, like Antigua, they're now turning to BRICS for money. And the United States has ran out of money. We can't print anymore. So it's a big problem for us. And you've got all of these, China and Russia, helping these countries. New Development Bank, I don't know if she tells you, it's in Shanghai.
Now, this is why you're hearing about countries that want to join the BRICS banking system. In 2021, Egypt, the UAE, and others took up small shares in the BRICS banking system. And recently, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Argentina have also expressed interest in possibly joining the BRICS banking system.
Over 40, I think now it's 50 countries. Saudi Arabia has joined and pulled out and joined and pulled out again. It all has to do with Lockheed Martin defense contract.
And that brings me to BRICS currency. Yes, the money. One Russian government official said a few weeks ago that BRICS member nations are possibly working towards creating a new form of currency. He said the nations are still in the pitching ideas phase of this. The fact is, BRICS money, if it ever happens, is far from becoming a reality.
This is a joke, guys. BRICS Pay, it already has a name. It's already on blockchain. The digital ruble is already going to debut next year. Vladimir Putin has been working on blockchain and crypto for years and years and years. You guys just didn't know it. There's all kinds of articles about this and evidence. He met with Vitalik Buterin back in 2017 to discuss options with Ethereum. Guys, read between the lines here. It's not hard.
It's also important to note that even if BRICS nations come up with their own currency, they're not a formal trading bloc. So to use this hypothetical BRICS money, at least initially, they'd really only be able to use it among member nations that accept it as valid currency.
Just with the 5 BRICS nations. Just with the 5. They have, I believe these numbers might be vice versa, but it's either 31% and 40% or either vice versa of the world GDP and population. They have India and China, guys. I think it's 40% of the population, 31% of the GDP. And this is without the new nations joining.
Much like the euro is used as currency between the 27-member European bloc, but the euro isn't accepted outside of those countries. To understand why BRICS countries are trying to create their own currency, you have to understand the politics. So let's start with the basics. 2 of the founding BRICS member nations, China and Russia, are, let's just say, not big fans of the United States, and dare I say,
dare she say,
enemies of the United States. The US is a democracy and China and Russia are autocracies. Our political values do not line up and our ways of life generally do not line up. And to the dismay of BRICS member countries, the US dollar has been the backbone of the world economy as the official reserve currency since 1944 because of our extremely strong economy, our democracy, and our transparent regulatory process, which has been a safe haven for global investors. The United States is a world leader because we have the world's largest economy with more than a $23 trillion GDP.
False. That is not true. We're the world leader not because of the size of our economy. We're the world leader because our dollar is the world reserve currency.
Some experts say, yeah, the US has the world's largest economy, but the dollar has an outsized influence in the world. The dollar actually is used in almost 90% of all international transactions. And fundamentally, BRICS nations don't think that's fair. They don't like playing by the US rules. They believe their combined 5-member GDP of almost $25 trillion should outweigh the United States and its $23 trillion GDP.
Yeah, but Canada is already in the CCP's pocket. It's obvious. We've already known that. Oh my gosh. That was, Canada was on that list. She's telling you all the reasons you should be concerned, and then she's saying, relax, don't worry.
Whether this hypothetical BRICS currency could ever overtake the US dollar as the world currency. Lots of international economic experts have gone on the record and said that would be really, really tough to do.
Yeah, guys, it's happening before our very eyes. The sanctions placed on Russia is what accelerated this. You cannot stop what is coming. BRICS pay is coming. The first thing, they're going to destroy the petrodollar. They're doing it right now. Watch what's happening in the Middle East. What do you think? They're sending drones back and forth. They're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. This is a way that $1.2 billion worth of oil passes by there every day. Think about that. So when the United States loses access to that, and Europe is already sucking on the teat of Russia for energy, guys, this is going to get very bad in the next probably 1 year or less.
Think about the GDP I just talked about and the fact that BRICS isn't a formal trading bloc. If that's not good enough for you, one of the founding members of BRICS, Russia, is under heavy sanctions by the United States, the European Union, the G7, and other United Nations member countries. Plus, there's infighting among some of the BRICS member nations.
That's what the whole thing's about. That's why this is happening. Are you Joe Biden? Is this Joe Biden's daughter? Are you serious? Guys, sanctions is all we know to do. No, you can't spend this, you can't spend this. And the more sanctions we put on these countries, the more they turn internally to each other. All the metals, the Russian metals just got basically removed. New contracts going on to the London Metal Exchange, which is the biggest one in the entire world. 90% of metals are traded there. So no more Russian metal going over there. Can you believe it? Oh, well, guess what? China is now buying all the Russian metal. Russia doesn't lose. China gets Russia's loyalty and they get all their metal. They get to hoard it and then they can sell it how they want because they're not sanctioned. So the sanctions are not working, guys. Sanctions are not working. They're making it worse.
For example, India and China have had a lot of political differences for years, and they even have a disputed border. Russia and Brazil are considered stagnant economies, and South Africa's GDP is by far the smallest, not just among BRICS member nations, but also among all of the G7. Then there's China, which has its own global political ambitions that
what she's not telling you is all of the Middle East countries are trying to join, except Israel. All of the Middle Eastern countries are trying to join. So they have all the oil. And Venezuela. Venezuela's going to join. They have the biggest oil reserves in the world. Venezuela does.
So bottom line, could the US currency fall in the coming years to a new global currency? Well, technically anything's possible. And yes, it's true, there are challengers right now to the US dollar as the world currency. Several countries have expressed interest in joining BRICS because they fear the United States is going to weaponize the dollar against them the way they say the United States has weaponized the dollar against Russia with all these sanctions. They say the US just has way too much power.
It's how the United States is done against everybody.
Chances of a large magnitude fall of the US dollar on the global scale remain highly unlikely in the near future.
It is 100% going to happen. The only question is it 5, 10, or 20 years? That's it, period. And by the way, the United States, the dollar as a reserve currency is at the end of its life cycle. This is the time when in 90 to 110 years, we've had it since, she said 1944. I mean, some people tell you technically 20s, but whatever. The point is, it's been about 100 years.
BRICS leaders will be meeting to pitch their ideas about this new potential BRICS currency at the next summit in South Africa in August.
So overall, she actually gives you a lot of great information. She's just not reading the information the way that she should. And to downplay this to your audience is to make them extremely unprepared. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like when I tell you what's really going on in the world, make sure to smash that like button. That's all I got. Be blessed. BitBoy out.